Hey, welcome everyone to the Architect Marketing Institute live stream training. Ooh, that's the wrong one here. Let me hide that. This is going to be on the #1 lead source for architects. My name is Eric Bobrow, and I'm co-founder of the Architect Marketing Institute, along with my esteemed partner, Richard Petrie. How are you doing, Richard?
Doing well. Morning. And we're here with our other esteemed partner, Christian.
All right.
How's it going, guys? Pretty good. Can't complain.
So we are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. If you are on Facebook, then we'd like you to just give us permission to see your comments by going to streamyard.com/Facebook. We will be broadcasting this for the next 45 minutes to possibly as long as an hour, depending on questions. And Richard, you're going to be sharing with us the #1 lead source for architects. And I know you've dropped some hints in some of the emails, but we'll leave this sort of, I wonder what it is. Anyway, let us know that you can hear us and see the screen. Type into the comments wherever you are on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube to say where you're calling in from and, say hello, and we'll get going.
Well, I kind of let the cat out of the bag in the email. I was doing a nice teaser email to talk about the #1 lead source, but at the end I couldn't help it. I let slip one of the emails anyway. Hello, how do you say that? Vallejo, Linda Cade, Marilyn, Peter Riegler. Cool. Hey, Peter. Hey, Linda. It's always funny to people outside the US, like Maryland. we always get laughed at when we say Maryland. It's like, well, what would you expect someone from outside the US to say? It's spelled Maryland. Texas, Austin. Cool place. We had a summit there 6 or 7 years ago on, was it Congress Road or something in the Jeff Disma from Illinois. We had a summit in Chicago too, didn't we? Hal from Santa Monica. Hey, Hal. All right, cool. I think we get into it, Eric. Wayne from Trinidad and Tobago. Wow, Wayne, that's cool. You're from the most exotic place so far. Good for you. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Well, there we go. Can't get more exotic than Bethlehem, can it? Hey, Sienna. Sienna's on our team as well. All right, I'm going to get going. So let's get into it.
I'm going to remove myself and Christian from the on screen, and you can go ahead.
Okay. All right. Now, yep, good. You seeing that? You seeing my screen here? I'm looking for a yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We are seeing it.
Cool. All right, so here we go. So what we're going to do here is, first question is, where do your leads come from? Or where do most of your projects come from? Right. So just type in the chat window. Where do most of your projects come from, and what percentage? Right. I'm gonna. Whoop, not that one. I'll shortcut a little bit. Let's go referrals and word of mouth. What percentage of referrals? What percentage of your projects come from referrals and word of mouth? Right. Tim Davis is 100%. Everyone else is saying referrals is their #1 thing. Linda's saying 100%. Just type in what percentage of your projects come from referrals, word of mouth. Cool. All right. Another one. Oh, wow. Okay. Anthony says 100%. Peter Regler, 25%. Okay. Okay. You're in the minority there, Peter. I'll be interested to know what you do. Actually, it'd be interesting. Just type in where your most of your business comes from, Peter. If not referrals, what I've found. Christian, can you just make yourself so I can hear you? Jeffrey says 80%. Anthony says 100%. Hal Freemer, okay, 20% from Hal, okay. What percent? Look, Christian's the guy that speaks to a lot of our architects. What would you say would be the average from referrals and word of mouth, Christian?
Yeah, for most of the folks I speak to, tends to be like around 80% come from referrals.
80%. Yep. Okay, and that's pretty consistent here. Tony says 50. Okay. Peter Regler says Bark. Interesting. Good. Thanks for that. And okay, good. Now the thing with referrals, right? And the problem most of you have is you don't think referrals. You don't treat referrals as a marketing lead source. It's just kind of something which reactively happens and comes in, right? And that's the big mistake, because we need to think of referrals as a marketing source. And the only way you can do that is if you have referral systems in place. So Christian, how many of the people that you speak to have referral systems in place? Not just, and as opposed to they do nothing, referrals just happen to come in, but how many people would have referral systems in place?
When it comes to referral systems, honestly, I'd say virtually none. Like unless they're like in our 6 Maps program. Yeah.
Right. Obviously them. But okay. So the standard architect who's struggling away. So the key thing is here is that when you put in place referral systems, what you're looking to do is double or triple or quadruple your number one lead source. Right now, if you're putting no effort into getting more referrals other than just doing good work, but that I'm not counting that as as proactive marketing. If you're just reactively waiting for them to come in and you're getting, I'm going to say 70 to 80% of your projects, just from what people are saying today, are referrals, and you're doing nothing to get them other than good work, but everyone does good work, then what would happen if we actually did something proactive? And by proactive, I mean, what if we put in place referral systems to trigger referrals? Right? Now, do you have a think? Do you think if we put in place some smart referral systems that you could triple the number of referrals you're getting? Now, have a think about this before you answer that question, unless your answer is yes. I want to lead the witness here. But I think for every lead that you get, there was probably another 9 or 10 that you could have got, but which you didn't get. Right. And by that, let's say I'm an architect and I get one lead. I guarantee, and let's say I've done work for Christian in the past, I've built him a house. Now, I guarantee there's a lot of people talking to Christian about about the house that he's built, that I designed for him. And I guarantee he might mention my name a couple of times, but I guarantee for everyone that he could have sent me or that he could have connected me with, I guarantee he's connecting me with hardly any. And you guys know this because most of you are pretty disappointed with the amount of referrals you get from past clients, right? And it's not because they don't want to refer you. It's just they're not really thinking about you, and they're not really thinking about, I really need to refer Richard or refer you. Okay. But by putting in place referral systems, you make yourself more referable. And by more referable, I mean it's easier to refer to you. There's more incentive to refer to you. That's it, basically. It's easier and there's more incentive for them to refer to you. All right. So that's what we're going to cover today. This is, look, we've run other sessions in this live stream thing around different topics and had lots more people than we've got signed up for this one today, right? But you guys are the smart ones, because this is probably one of the most important topics to know about. This one here, because in terms of leverage and moving the dial, if you can put in place some things to triple your referrals, get more of the ones that you should be getting, all the conversations that are out there are happening, you're getting more of those instead of people just mentioning your name and never bringing it up again, and that's the end of it, right? You could triple your referrals. Think to yourself, what would happen to your business if you tripled the amount of referrals you were getting? What would happen if you tripled? Oops. If you 300% more, what would happen to your business, right? I'm going to suggest there might be 3 things that would happen to your business. One might be you might have to have a waiting list. Okay. But what's even better than a waiting list? Number 2, you might have to say no to a whole lot of projects which are not, I'll call them dream projects, not your ideal projects. That would be good, wouldn't it? I mean, that would be good. That would be good. You only work with ones that you pick. You handpick the projects, right? No, 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 yes. No, no, yes. No, no, yes. Right? Have a think about how your life would be if you got to pick the projects. There's another thing, good consequence of having 300% more referrals. One is you could probably, I know you could probably do it now, but you could probably put your fees up substantially without having to worry, right? Because you've got more clients than you can handle. You're telling people to go away now and putting some good ones on waiting list already. Okay, there's nothing really bad about 300%ing your referrals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 3 examples today that you can consider. 3 referral examples from our training, from our 6 training, and see if you like any of them. And if you like any of them, you can use them, right? Good, good. Makes sense so far, everybody? Can I just see a yes if this makes sense? If anyone's got a question, let's just quickly cover off any. Are you still there? I mean, that's the other thing with these things. You never know if anyone's there or just this is live stream that just puts up these names. Tony Scarnato. Right, makes sense so far. Just a quick yes if you're still there. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you. Anyone else still there, or is it just me and Deborah? I don't mind. I can just take you through, Deborah. Anyone else there? Come on. Yes, good. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you. Cool. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. Cool. Thanks, guys. Okay. It takes a wee while to come through. It's not that you're slow and unresponsive. It's just that the system takes a while to go through. Thanks, Hal. All right. I'll stop sharing this one and I'm going to share a different one. Right. I'll go with, I think I'll go with this one. Right. So this is a document I wrote. Now it's a monthly newsletter. I write a monthly newsletter every month, and there's about 83 of these newsletters. You get them when you become a member. It's about referrals, right? And you know, the effort required for referrals is hardly anything, the input, and yet the result is exponentially. I mean, if you're a person who likes working smarter, not harder, referral systems are the way to go. It's the place I get everybody to start. I mean, there's all sorts of fancy things you can do with Facebook and LinkedIn and other types of things, and they can work. I mean, we saw one person doing some good stuff with Bark, possibly. They can work. Referrals always works, right? Because at the end of the day, architecture is a referral business, right? Reactive referrals that just randomly come in the door is not marketing, in my opinion. That's just lucky. But when you proactively do stuff that triggers referrals, especially the type that you want, then you, my good sir, good madam, are definitely engaging in referral marketing. This week I have felt burnt out, run down, not slightly ill and lacking a clear head. So rather than dazzle you with witty repartee for 8 pages, I'm going to give you 9 or so referral systems that I gave the mastermind group in our virtual summit last week. This is a while ago. Now, the number 1 strategy is Dirty 30. The number 2 is Directory of Experts. They're my best ones. These are the other ones. Okay, if you want these ones, that's cool. Join our 6 Maps program. You'll get those. These other ones are very good as well. Okay, now the first one, and this is a pretty simple one, referral pricing. Okay, and it's as simple as this: would you like the normal price or the referral price? And they go, oh, what's the referral price? And you go, oh, sorry, didn't I tell you? Now this works particularly well if you do LCC. So LCC is paid pre-design research, and that's where I would use this one. I don't particularly like the idea of using it for your design fees, because your design fees I don't think should be discounted, right? It's good if you do an LCC. So some of you will heard about this before. It's paid pre-design research, and that is a good place to do the strategy, right? Because you're only going to charge $2,000 or $3,000 for doing a feasibility study, and you can discount that, $300 or something like that, right? You might give 20%, you might give them $600 off. Who cares, right? Would you like the normal price and the referral price? And they go, oh, what's the referral price? And you go, oh, sorry, didn't I tell you? The referral price is, if you go ahead with the feasibility study or the needs and options review, I can give you 20% off that if you think that you could refer someone in the next 90 days. If someone's, you're going to speak to a lot of people about projects, because people are talking about projects, You'll find other people talk about your projects. And if you think you can refer someone else who does one of these feasibility studies, then I can give you 20% off. And they go, oh, wow, I don't know. I'll tell you what, look, I'll give it to you off. I'll fast forward it, or as long as you've got the intention of doing it, then I'll give you the 20% off now. If it turns out you don't, that's all right. As long as your intention is to, if you engage in conversations and you just know that, you should be referring someone to me, then you knowing that is enough for me. How's that sound? Well, that sounds very generous. Thanks very much. Okay, great. Okay. If they don't send you a referral, for whatever reason, you can remind them later on, because they have got this deal. So you can prompt them. Hey, has anyone been talking to you about any projects? Have you come across anyone? They might be, no, not really. Or they might, and that's cool. That's cool. No worries. I wouldn't charge them the extra later on. It's no big deal. But what you've done is sown the seed. You've now got a person who is a potential salesperson, and you probably weren't charging for pre-design research anyway before, right? So you're better off in every single way. Okay, so referral pricing. I wouldn't do it on design. I would learn to do the LCC and do that one. Okay, that's one. The next one I want to show you is just a straight out ask. Okay, right. Seems silly to include this as a strategy, but when was the last time you actually asked for referrals from clients or suppliers? Right? Most people think you're super busy, which you are, but you mightn't be so busy if you didn't need to do so much marketing. Right? So either that, or feeding your prospects. Feeding you prospects is not on their radar, right? Their job isn't to think about you and think about marketing. It's the same with, I work with architects, accountants as well. They don't get many referrals either. Why not? Why haven't I referred my accountant? It's because it's not my job. I'm not really thinking about her. I'm thinking about me. It's all about me, right? Could I refer her? I could, I guess. Yes, I could. Has she prompted me to refer her? She asked me to. Has she sent out any incentives? Is she offering me an iPad for referring or anything like that? No. She doesn't talk about it. I don't talk about it. Okay, here's a script, and this is a really good script. I'll read out this bit first, and then I'll explain the psychology behind what I'm saying here, because a lot of you, and I understand, you don't like asking for referrals because it sounds a bit needy. If you do it this way, it doesn't really sound needy. Okay. All right. So you say something like this. or it goes in an email. And 2 months from now, I'm in a position to take on a couple of new clients. We're not looking for anyone. We're specifically looking for someone who, and then you put in some criteria, whatever it is. They're really good to deal with. Maybe they have a budget of over $500,000, and they, I don't know, whatever it is you consider to be a good client or a good project, right? It's whatever it is. If someone comes to mind over the next month or so, would you be happy to connect them with me? Here's the best way to, and they'll probably go yes, right? Here's the best way to connect us. If they're doing an ABC type of project, can you ask them if they'd be open to having a chat with me where I can help them with, and you state a couple of things which are very specific that you can help them with. Okay. I can help them with getting a better understanding of what the project might cost. I can help them understand who the experts are that they might need to connect with, and I can give them maybe a one-page action plan, right? Something specific. That's how I can help them, right? If they're happy with that, then can you call me or text me on this number with their details, and I'll contact them. But please, I only want people who have told you they're happy for me to reach out to them. Okay? Now, let's just diagnose what's been said here. In 2 months from now, I'm going to be in a position to take on a couple of new clients. We're not looking for anyone. We're specifically looking for someone who fits this criteria. Right. If you are specific, it makes you look discerning. It makes you look professional. And you're on a strategic mission to, move your business in a certain direction rather than just desperately taking anything that moves. Right. Now, notice also it says in 2 months from now. That also implies you're not desperate. Right? We're not looking for anyone implies you're not desperate. We're not looking for anyone. We're specifically looking for this. Okay? Right. So that takes you away from looking desperate. It's just we're looking for this type of project because we're going to, we've got some space in a couple of months. If someone comes to mind over that next month or so, would you be happy to connect them with me? Right? So you're asking the question. If you're face to face with them or something like that, or you're on the phone, they'll say, yeah, sure. And then you tell them how, right? Now, you don't want cold calls. You don't want to say, oh, give this guy a call. He'd be worth giving a call to. And this guy and this woman, give them a call. No. We don't want that, right? Here's the best way to connect us. If they're doing this type of project, can you ask them if they'd be open to having a chat with me where I can help them, work out a very wide ballpark figure of range for what their project might be, outline some of the experts they should be speaking to in the early stages. So I can open up my Rolodex and you still got a Rolodex. And 3, I can give them an action plan, right? Once again, the more specific it is, the more you're plugging thoughts into their head. They get to visualize it. And seeing is believing. But when you get people to visualize things, pictures stick in people's heads, right? So now they're picturing the type of project, they're picturing what you can do for them, and they're picturing how you're going to help them, and also how they're going to connect you. They've visualized all that now, right? Once they've seen it, the seed has been planted. Nothing desperate about this, right? Nothing desperate. It's all pretty cool, but you got to be doing it, right? I mean, if you did this to every client or even supplier, right? You're bound to get some projects from it, right? You've let them know that you are looking for projects. You've let them know how to connect with you. The seed's been sown, and, that's cool. And you'll do the same for them, okay? Any comments on this letter? Just any comments on this letter here, or email or script? You could use it in a number of ways, right? Is that something simple, and is it something that would be worth putting in place as opposed to having nothing in place? I know it takes a while for comments to come through, so just comment on this letter, just the script here. By the way, like I said, hang on. No. All right. Now, you can get a copy of this whole document later on. I'll tell you how to get that. Now, I'll show you document number 3. So this is strategy number 3. Strategy number 1 was referral pricing. Number 2 was this little script here. These are really easy ones to do. The first 2. That's why I'm giving them to you. The next one would require, it's a little bit more involved because you would have to just change the thing I'm going to show you now. Okay, this one here. All right. Holly's letter. I know you can see it, but I can't find it on my screen. There it is. All right. All right. Now, Holly is my daughter. Now, a few years ago, I thought, I want to put out a referral letter and I want it to be a fun one. So I did this one. Right. So that last one is pretty kind of, it's serious. It's good. It's very effective and it will work. Here's a different one just for fun. Right. And if you like this one, type Barbie into the chat window and we'll get you this one immediately. We'll set it up and give you a copy of this in PDF. Okay. So here it is. Is the tooth fairy real? Now, it doesn't sound like a referral letter from the outset, does it? It's a referral. Right. Is the tooth fairy real? My name is Holly Petrie and I am 6 years old. My dad runs speed marketing. That's what I happened to be doing at the time in Wellington. And last month, when I lost a tooth, I asked the tooth fairy for a big Barbie castle and lots of Barbie clothes. Well, guess what? The tooth fairy came and all I got was a small Barbie castle. Dad says if I want more clothes, I need to buy them myself. He says he will pay me $1 for every letter I post out to you and anyone else. He says that he will give everybody an extra $100 off to buy the guerrilla marketing kit, and here is the coupon. So I was selling a guerrilla marketing kit at the time, and there's the coupon. And that's me, right? $100, good till the 23rd of August, 2010. Oh, that's how old this letter is, but it's still a good one, right? That's my birthday, by the way. Not that you asked. Right, cut it out and send it back before the 23rd of the 8th, 2011, or whatever it says, might have been 2010. Cut it back, send before this date, and get your $100 off, and me $1. Thank you, Holly. Right now, I have had John Stanton in our mastermind group. He did an architect version of it. I couldn't find it. I could only find my original version. But an architect could download this, just put in Barbie into the chat window. We'll send it to you, and you can adapt this letter for yourself. It would be, once again, this would work probably better if you were giving $100 off an LCC, probably, than giving $100 or $1,000 off your design. Discounting your design never looks good, but discounting your pre-design research is perfectly acceptable. It would work better that way. All right. Jeff loves Barbie, and it's very topical, isn't it? Because Barbie is the big movie at the moment. All right. So I'm going to open up now for questions. So if you've got any questions about referrals or anything you're doing, then now's the time. Feel free to type those in. Like father, like daughter. Yep, she's a little marketer, actually. Good little marketer. She might have made $20 from that, bought herself some Barbie clothes. And that was a lot of money back in 2010. Now, yeah, type in Barbie if you want a copy of that Holly's letter. And I'm sure you could adapt it. Or you just want to have it for fun. The newsletter, I'll tell you what we'll do, is part of when we do these live streams, if Christian's still there, when we do these live streams, you'll get the big idea letter. So that's the letter I was reading off before that had the script, and it had about 9 different referral easy referral strategies that you can deploy. You have to speak to Christian. So Christian usually gives everybody a quick call and sets you up with that other document. And I want him to also ask you a few questions about your number one problem, because we're doing a bit of a survey and we'd like to know what is the big challenges for people. So if you're happy to answer those questions, he'll give you that big idea letter, and he'll find out what your number one problem is, and he'll fit you up with a solution that directly helps you solve whatever your number one problem is. There's not really a problem that you can come up with, probably, if it's marketing related, that we don't have a resource for. So he'll fix you up with that as well. All right. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. Anyone have any questions or comments or thoughts? Has anyone come up with a really good referral strategy that something else that is worthy of mention? Cool. Yeah, the PDF will come when Christian will do a quick call. I want him to survey you guys to find out what your number one challenges are. So he'll do a quick call at some point. If you pick up the phone and answer him, you know what it's like, because I know he'll do it within the next 7 days. I know what it's like. There's a lot of calls come to people and you just don't answer them if you don't know who they are. But if you can just pick up your phone in the next 7 days, it'll probably be Christian. He'll give you the big idea letter, and he'll ask you about your number one problem, and he'll give you one more resource, right? That'll help you with your thing. All right. Christian, referrals. You said no one does them. A question for you: Why do you think no one does them, apart from obviously members of our marketing group, our marketing coaching group?
The referral systems?
Yeah, and I'll bring Eric in here too.
I mean, a lot of them, when I bring that up, they just haven't really heard of that as a concept. They're just
right
here and there when they reach out to someone, if it comes, but they don't have a system. Yeah,
right.
Haven't heard of them.
Yeah. I mean, I think the number one thing is you don't know what you don't know. When you don't even consider referrals as a marketing strategy, I guess you don't think about it as a marketing strategy. So you're looking at Facebook and you're looking at, I don't know, networking events, and you're thinking about cold calling, but you don't want to do that. I'm guessing that because and I guess when Eric and I came to the breakthrough, it was a breakthrough really, but we came to the conclusion that actually, if you're being proactive about referrals, then it does become marketing. And if it's already the number one source of projects for people, then all we need to do is double or triple. Like 2 times referrals is better than 2 times LinkedIn, leads, because LinkedIn leads is probably hardly any. Google AdWords leads is probably hardly any. You've got to put in a lot of work to get a few Google Ad. We're testing things out at the moment with some of our coaching group, and we've got a guy in Italy who's a specialist in Google, and he's doing a good job, and he's getting them some appointments. But the amount of work required to get these appointments is quite a bit involved, and you've got to be pretty. It's like fine tuning one of those old radios. You've got to be spot on. And it's not something everyone can do. But referrals, this cute letter here or the scripty one, we know is going to work if you send it out to enough people. And you're like, we know it's going to work. The Google stuff and all the other fancy bits, it sometimes works if you've got a really good expert on your books, and you usually have to be paying the money as well. Right. What are your thoughts, Eric?
Well, as always, I think this is going back to the fundamentals, the things that do work that aren't necessarily focused on. I think that it is so common when we talk to our members or people who are just generally on our list and attend our events, that referrals are the number one source, and yet it's an afterthought or it's a non-thought. It's just like, yeah, I'm so grateful that I get them, but no, I don't have any conscious way to build them. So I love, you've got that whole PDF with, so many different ways to approach it. And, they all can work, and they're all pretty easy. So, Definitely think it's important to go back to the basics.
Yep. Now there's I'm not sure if this is it must be a question. It's got question marks there, but how to ask past clients for referrals. 931. Who was this? What was your name, Facebook user? We can only see Facebook user. Because
I'll check
I
on
covered
that.
one earlier. Yeah, I did cover one
Angela,
earlier.
That's Angela Maroney. You know Angela.
Oh, Angela. I do know Angela. She was in our very first marketing group. We had 10 architects back in, was it almost 10 years ago? We had 10 architects in the very first coaching group, and Angela was in that. She's Sydney. Yeah, good to hear from you, Angela. Okay, well, seeing it's you, how to ask? Well, I kind of covered it with that scripty thing from the Big Idea letter from that article, but that's how I would ask for them. If you remember, we covered, maybe you turned up late, or I'll just go back to it just in case you didn't see it. Where is it? Oh, it's gone. There it is. The script here, Angela. Right? That one there. Do you remember that? You'll get this. Christian will give you a quick call when he does the survey, and then if you don't, by the way, if you don't answer the phone, you won't get this document. He needs to speak to you because it's a reward for sort of doing the survey. And if you don't get emailed and you go, oh, I'd like to be surveyed because I want this document. What can we do? Have a think about that, Eric. Because Eric,
if you type in PDF into the chat, we'll make a special note to reach out to you, and we'll make sure that we get in touch via
call
email.
Times,
Things like that.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so you won't miss out. We'll chase you down. This one here, Angela. I mean, there's a lot. There might be other ones in here. To past clients. Oh, well, this is another one too. You can say to them about what you can do to past clients. If you send out an email, and there's a thing about unexpected gifts. So a lot of people don't want to refer. You could put and say, if someone refers me, then I'll give you one of these remarkable devices. This device, you can't see it because it's in my face, but I'll give you one of those or something. I'll give you an iPad or something like that. But a lot of people don't like to. They don't like to be bribed. It kind of feels a wee bit like a bribe. Some people are fine with it, right? But some people don't like it. So the other thing is you reward people when they do refer. And how do I let people know that I will reward them? But it's not an incentive. It's just it's an unexpected gift for the referral, right? So there's a difference. I can either say, hey, if you refer me, I'll give you this iPad, or if you do refer, I'll give you a meal for two at Luigi's restaurant, right? Now the person didn't know on the second instance that they were going to get it, right? So they don't feel bribed. It's a reward. It's an unexpected gift. Okay. I'll read this because if I pat my dog Polo on the head and rub her tummy every time she gets the newspaper for me, then I'll know she'll repeat the exercise tomorrow. She's sitting just over there. People love surprises. Of course, they'll say, oh, you didn't need to do that. But we all know they loved it, right? And we want repeat referrers too. So when you get a referral, you better make sure to gift the person who referred something personal like a dinner date or concert tickets or a massage or a spa treatment. If the gift makes them look good to someone else, even better, right? So if they can look like a hero to their partner, even better. Imagine you referred me, which is very kind of you. And so I sent you a voucher for a dinner at a great restaurant. You took your partner, of course, because then you get to feel like the hero without spending a penny. You feel great, partly because it was free, and largely because your partner thinks you paid because you didn't tell your partner, right? Would you be likely to refer me again? Yes, because I've just rubbed your tummy. Right. I patted you on the head and rubbed your tummy and it made you feel good. I bet you would. Right. A multi-referrer is good, but we can do better. Your turn now is to be the referrer. Now, let's say you bought Bob and Miranda a meal at Luigi's Trattoria, a taxi and a babysitter, right? Because they referred someone to you. Now, let's not waste your generosity with just Bob and Miranda. We want to extract more value out of this than just Bob and Miranda being happy. So you ask Bob and Miranda to take a photo of themselves enjoying the referral meal, right? They send you the photo, and there's the photo of Bob and Miranda down there. You slap the photo in your newsletter and on your Facebook page and show your happy referrers experiencing the fruits of their referral. And you go, oh, here's Bob and Miranda enjoying drinks at Luigi's, a special gift we gave them after they referred Jesse and Mike to us. Right? Now, you want, by making your unexpected referral reward the worst kept secret in town, no one needs to feel bribed, but everyone gets to know that they will receive a little something they did not ask for. Right? So the fact that you give out gifts when people refer needs to be the worst kept secret in town, right? You're not saying, hey, if you send me a referral, I'll send you to Luigi's. You just see that everyone is going to a Luigi's, right? So that would be another way to, indirectly, if your past clients got a newsletter and they saw someone like this enjoying a meal at Luigi's, then it kind of sows the seed as well. Okay. Cool. Voila. What else,
Right.
Eric?
Well, I just see some more people, asking for the PDF, and we'll definitely get that over to them. I'm just going to bring up to the thing of Q&A. So if you have a question, please just type it in there. And then also, if you had any light bulb moments, that would be an interesting thing. So you can, if you have any takeaways, what did you learn from today's session? Were there any things that you go, I'm going to try that, or hadn't thought of that? That's clever. So I always think that, Richard, you give people some gems that they can walk away with.
We try, don't we, Eric?
All right.
There's a couple of questions here which are slightly off topic. I'll talk about them at a high level. So one from Tony and one from a Facebook user. A majority of clients coming from government agents through winning RFPs. Very few projects are from referrals. I'm hoping that AMI can help us diversify our clientele. I'll tell you what, I actually have a strategy on this, and I wrote up a whole big idea letter like the one that you're seeing on the screen, specifically for people who are doing higher end, RFP type stuff. I won't go through it now. Same with you, Tony. 50% of our work comes from the public sector. Does this change the referral process? I'll talk about high level. Okay, I'll talk about very high level, just quickly. And I need to draw something, but you really want to get the whole document. So when you speak to, it's no longer active. Hang on, get active. When you speak to Christian, just tell him you want the, hang on, I just have to, there we go, accept it. Bingo. Great. Okay. Right. So here's how it works. You've got RFP. Right. Once it gets to that stage, it's kind of hard to work things out, right? You're going through the government's set process and they get very rigid. There's no discussions and all that sort of stuff, and it's quite difficult. But before you get to that, before they get to RFP, there is a whole lot of work that has to be done. I guess analysis, needs analysis, functional requirements, functional everything. Maybe sort of ballpark costs, maybe just estimations at a very high level. There's all this type of stuff that needs to go on, right? And most government agents, some government agencies go straight to here and think, oh, we'll sort all that out when we get to our RFP, right? In which case they give everybody a really bad RFP because they really don't understand the situation. Others in this phase here are kind of doing info gathering and trying to understand their needs, right? And so what my suggestion is that to help, that depends on what sort of questions they have in here and how much information they need before they go to RFP, but there'll be a whole lot of things they need in that, right? And so to address some of the stuff that they need before they go into RFP, you position yourself as a bit of a thought leader on those topics. So let's say there's 6 different things they're interested in knowing. Let's say there's 4. They need to know certain bits of information. 1, 2, 3, 4. So by becoming a thought leader on those, you have to do some analysis and find out what information they do in your market, but that's asking questions and doing a bit of research. What information do you need before you go to RFP and all that? Thought leader, you write, you produce content. You produce content which to these people should be highly valuable because it's the type of stuff they're looking for in here, right? And then from here, not only have you got content, you've also got consulting exercises, shall we say, because this is generic information in here. Where consulting exercises where you help them. This is specific for them. So you can help them do certain exercises and stuff like that. This is paid. That's free. This is free over here. This is paid. And you basically you set up a consulting arm to help people with that phase, right? Now, this is the bit that can be a referral. If people know that you write about these topics, you have these consulting exercises, then you can do referral exercises to drive people to let me just change the, referrals would drive people to this stuff and it could drive people to this stuff here, right? I mean, referrals might drive them into here, but by the time they get into there, it's often too late. You want to get them in this phase here. So anyway, there's a big idea report on that. What's it called? Something around winning commercial projects. So hopefully that gives you, helps you out to some degree there.
So the first of those questions was from Hal Framer, who just joined the program, the 6 Maps program. So Hal, just reach out to me and I'll get you that big idea letter on the commercial projects and this whole approach. I'll just add one other sort of variation on this is, for past clients that have you've worked with in that particular commercial or government, K through 12, whatever sector, you can certainly, part of your job is to get on the short list, right? So you do get included in the RFP, and you are aware of it. So you can ask some of your past clients, do they know of anything going on? And of course, they may be connected. Oh, this other school district, I have a buddy there, and they are going to be going, requesting this. They do have some funding, etc. So you may get informed there, and you can, potentially reach out to the contacts at that other agency or commercial, organization. Potentially, they can recommend you, which, they still have to go through RFP and they'll have some formal requirements. But if you come recommended, then that can help. You can have a leg up on everyone else. And I guess, Richard, you have some other things that we can share with Hal, at least, or anyone who's in the program that relate to asking questions about what do people need to know or see in order to know whether you're the right choice. So there's some interesting things that relate to the sales process. So once you're in the door, at least to the point of doing a short list presentation, how can you make sure that you hit it right on the money, perhaps better than others by this, rather clever approach that you have outlined. So.
Yep. Interesting question here from a LinkedIn user. It's LCC. Can I go down? Yeah, it's LCC, stands for low commitment. Consultation. It's kind of feasibility study type thing. Is it a way to filter out serious inquiries? Yeah, it is a way to look. If people don't want to pay for pre-design research, the way we sell it, they'd be fools, right? Because the way it's positioned, you'd be a fool not to, and you are a fool not to anyway when it's done properly. And two, you guys know there's a lot of people who want to spend a lot of time with an architect and ask a lot of questions and then don't go ahead. So you can waste a lot of time. One of our mastermind members, Jeff Krieger, said, and it's in line with this sort of filtering people out who are just tire kickers or not serious. He said the LCC it's not just the money that, the money that you make because you charge a bit of money, but that's, you might charge a couple of $1,000s to do a pre-design research. It's not that so much, although that's handy. It's the 10 hours that you save not having to go and do pre-design research for a client who doesn't go ahead. He said we'd spend 10 to 12 hours on diagnosis and analyzing things. And if the client didn't go ahead, it just completely wasted 10 to 12 hours. He said saving that time has been even more important to us than the $2,000 that we charge for the people who do. Now, the conversion rate for the people who go, yep, I'll pay you $2,000 to go and do the pre-design research, conversion rate for our members anyway is around 80%. Right, so virtually everyone goes ahead with a design. When I say to design, if the project goes ahead, it's yours to lose. Right, if you've been working with them for a month on the LC, or a couple of weeks, or a few meetings, it might take you 10 hours to do an LCC, but you're getting paid for it. You've been working with the client. They see you as their architect. And if the project goes ahead, that they stick with you. You've got to screw it up at that point to not get it. So it's only really if the project doesn't go ahead do you not get the design contract. I haven't even heard of someone not getting it, but I'm sure someone probably hasn't. Okay. What else about the LCC? Yeah, the LCC. Look, we're not here to talk about the LCC particularly, but one, it gets you paid. Yep. So that's one benefit. Two, it allows you to do proper research, proper diagnosis of the situation. You may not want it. It may be you may go and say, hey, this project's not a go, but you still get paid for it, or it might be a yes, right? Three, it's more professional. A surgeon wouldn't do an operation without doing a diagnosis first. That would be unprofessional. That would be malpractice, right? I know it's common with architects. It's not common with anyone who works with us. Like, everyone does LCCs, and everybody says they all think, oh, it'd be really difficult, and a lot of people do work for free. If you sell it properly, you will beat people who are doing it for free. We get that every day. I mean, clients will choose someone. A lot of clients are professionals. They're doctors and lawyers and accountants. A lot of your clients, they're professional people, except with the exception of the developers, right? They do like free. But, your professional clients, they charge people money to go and do a diagnosis as well. A doctor charges to do a diagnosis. An accountant charges to go and do a diagnosis, right? They feel more comfortable. The good clients feel more comfortable paying you money than having you do work for free, because they know they wouldn't do it for free, right? They can feel very uncomfortable. There's way more benefits to this. There is no downside to not doing. Once you start doing an LCC, you'll never, ever go back to not doing it. I promise you. What's this one here?
All right.
There's one question here which we'll cover. So we'll wrap this off in a second, guys. If you haven't put down Barbie and you want the Barbie letter, just put down Barbie in the chat window. If you want to be guaranteed that Christian calls you for the survey about the surveying problems, he will give you the big idea letter, which has about the 9 referral strategies. Just type in PDF. Something about the LCC that has me confused is when charging for projects in states you are not licensed in, because of the legal aspects, whereas you are not allowed to practice or promote or essentially do anything unless you're licensed in that state. Yeah, I don't know. We're not giving legal advice, so I don't think we can answer that. I guess the answer is just work in the states that you're licensed.
So just as a variation to your answer, obviously there are different categories of service, and doing design, submitting drawings, coordinating construction, visiting construction sites, those certainly all are under a category of professional practice that relates to licensing, but generally consultation, discussion, information is probably less restricted. If you're not practicing architecture, you're giving guidance about how someone should think about an architecture project, then the rules may be a little different. Now, obviously, if you're thinking about things about in another state, presumably you've got some arrangements where in the past you have done stuff and you found an architect of record, or you found some other way to have a legal standing in the state. Or if it's a large enough project and you have enough time, maybe you can get reciprocal paperwork, so you do have some legal standing there. So it'll vary, but do consider whether the LCC as a consultation as opposed to a design process actually is maybe outside of the legal restrictions. You cannot practice architecture in the state of whatever. So anyway, just to consider that.
Check it out. We're not giving legal advice. Speak to an expert. All right. That's it, guys. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, everybody who turned up. Hopefully that was of value to you, and hopefully Referrals is now plugged into the center of your head, and you realize that you've been missing a golden opportunity for the last 20 years by not having referral systems. There's 9 in that document. So when you get set up with that PDF document, I gave you 3, but there's another 6 in that document. And that's it. Thanks, guys. Enjoyed doing this with you guys. We run these like most weeks, not every week, but we do different topics. So look out for the next one. I think we'll probably do one next week. I'm not sure on what yet, but that's it. All right, Eric, final thoughts from you, and then we'll wrap up.
No, I think we're good to go. So we'll be back with more. Do feel free to send us your input, questions if you have it, or suggestions possibly for other live stream topics, things that you'd like Richard to give some his insights or perspective on, or me as well. You can send that to support@archmarketing.org. And of course, we are checking the chat for this live stream and LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook. So if you do post something there, then we'll probably see it. But if you really want to have a conversation back and forth, send it to support@archmarketing.org. All right. So thanks, Richard. Thanks, Christian. I know he's still watching in the background. and Sienna, who's also on our team. So we'll be back again soon.